Ilkis, Aranka and Thal sit side by side, like sparrows on a tree branch. They seem happy, despite the chaos going on around them. If it isn't our rescuer, it's good that you've come. Here, sit with us. I am pleased to see that you are all fine, but there's still much more work to do in the city. Sitting takes time, and we don't have time. That's true, Ilkis nods, but can we give you a gift before you go? We wouldn't give this to anyone apart from the person who bravely defended us from injustice. The injustice inflicted by the people who should be the pillars of law and order in our city. Our gift, Ranka cuts in, is a song. We call it Starward Gaze, and it came to us from the true servants of Desna, from her domain in Elysium. This song can gift a soul with renewed vitality. Just listen. She sings the melody. Listen in silence. Ilke winks at you. That's the symbol of eternity that I'm drawing, by the way, this. Eternity. At least it's a symbol where it's supposed to represent eternity. Never-ending circle, so to speak. You've performed a chaotic action. Why is that chaotic? Sound design in this game is beautiful. Let's just listen to this for a second and then I'm going to start reading. Alrighty, day 19, month Arodis, year 4715. When the music stops, Morgraine finds himself in a place that looks nothing like the ruins of Kinabis. It all happens in the space of a blink. He closes his eyes on one world and reopens them on another entirely. Master Cheeks approves. A delicate twilight, not Chief Cheeks, a delicate even though Master Cheeks is dead now, Master Chief rises. Has risen. Spoiler. A delicate twilight envelops this new world, with streaks of moonlight breaking through the gloom. Morgraine is standing in a shallow stream of murmuring water, deep in a forest. There is no one else around. Garlands of unfamiliar climbing plants twine around the trunks of gigantic trees, and dangling from their branches are vines, woven into what looks remarkably like swings. A carpet of fragrant grasses spreads out at the tree's roots, with islands of phosphorescent moss and lichen dotted here and there. Small, smooth stones with a strange mirrored surface are scattered across the stream bed, which Morgraine is standing. The stones catch the light, shining down from the heavens, making them gleam silver, and making the ordinary little brook look like a stream of pure darkness, carrying a sprinkling of stars through the night. Morgraine is sure that he has never been to this place before, and yet it all feels so familiar. It is the manifestation, not of dreams or fantasies, but of that special way of looking at the world that only children possess, when a glint of light reflected off a piece of glass becomes a fallen star, when an oddly shaped stone can be a remarkable artifact, And when every shadow or twist in a path promises mystery or an incredible adventure. A single glance into the forest stream brings this feeling rushing back. Realizing this, Morgraine, and hurriedly making his way along the stream bed, taking in his surroundings, clambers up the nearest street to play on a vine swing, seeks a way to dispel a suspicious illusion and track down a caster. No. Unhurriedly makes his way along the stream bed, taking in his surroundings. The whimsically twisting stream runs through the silent forest, and Morgraine unhurriedly strolls along it. This place evokes a strange feeling of not calm. No, in fact, quite the opposite. A feeling of restlessness and anticipation of incredible discoveries or unexpected encounters. Or then again, perhaps it's not the place at all, but the eternal hunger, the craving for new experiences which dwells within many mortal hearts. Speculation put aside, just as Morgraine rounds the next bend, an unexpected encounter does indeed take place. They come closer, not attempting to hide, stepping lightly on the mossy carpet, leaping from branch to branch, or flitting through the air. The creatures are thoroughly bizarre, as though they were deliberately conceived to try the sanity of every taxonomist on the planet. One has the fluttering wings of a butterfly on its back. Another has the tails of a dozen different animals, while a third boasts tresses of streaming water, hooves instead of feet, and springy clover growing all over its skin. "We have a visitor," exclaims one of the strange creatures, and it immediately runs along the stream, sending up moonlight-silvered splashes with every step. "Who are you?" "We are Zytas, the children of freedom," says one of the creatures, carelessly swinging from the branches of a tree. "This forest is our home for today. Tomorrow, our home could be a lake 100 leagues to the south, or an underground cave in the azure ocean, or a castle of clouds that scatters in the dawn breeze. The Azatas are a race of benevolent celestials native to the plane of Elysium." Elysium? What the heck? We are in Elysium? Oh. Azatas are champions of freedom and goodness, and choose to travel the plains helping creatures in need and battling evil. Azatas do not believe that evil can be completely destroyed by methodical campaigns, no. Instead, devoting themselves to showing up where they are needed most, doing their best to help, then promptly leaving. Helping like someone in need, like us. Even though some think of the Azatas as the most elf-like of the celestial races, many of them have animal, elemental, or even stranger features and body parts. Many take whimsical forms, resembling the good fae with whom they are sometimes associated. Where am I? "Don't know where you are," asks the creature in amazement. "They are plains of breathtaking beauty, and plains of astonishing wonders, but only Elysium's woven from the craving for beauty, from the belief in wonders. That is where you are, in the most beautiful, peaceful, wonderful corner of the entire plane of boundless freedom. We are Azatas, the children of freedom," says one of the creatures, carelessly swinging from the branches of a tree. That was slightly redundant. "This forest is our home for today." That's definitely redundant. "How did I get here?" "Don't you know where you are?" No. Okay, so this is just a new text, I see. This is all redundant. "We don't know how you came to be here," says the creature with a dozen tails, smiling. "Mortals rarely come to Elysium during their lifetime, but here you are, which means that something must have brought you here. Something in your soul. If your soul did not harbor even the slightest spark of freedom, yearning and compassion, you would never have found your way here. Now that you know the answers, tell us, what do you want?" I have to go back. They need me there. There's a demonic invasion, thousands of people dying, the world is about to end. This is beautiful here, but I cannot stay. I must go back. The creature with the butterfly wings, who has hitherto remained silent, gives the visitor a serious look and nods to itself. I smell the burning blood and tears of the place you have come from. It clings to you. It is right that you don't want... Wait, what? It is right that you don't wish to turn your back on the suffering of those you left behind. None of us children of Elysium would do such a thing. Go back, be a bulwark against evil and strive. Your path is true. But would you like to take something from this place as a memento? The question hangs in the air, and though the words that Morgan utters next are merely words, not a spell nor a military command, they seem to have equal bearing on destiny and life. Good. Is that a mythic path? Yes, I really want to. The Azatas drew closer. Take this memory with you. Take this light. Take the knowledge that any pebble struck by a moonbeam can be equal to any star. Take the understanding that you cannot fight evil with clever plans until you have conquered evil within your soul. That's a wisdom that I have conquered a long time ago. Before you can fight evil, you have to fight the evil within you. And make sure that you are of pure light and goodness. And only then, and only then, can you truly fight and conquer evil. What? And your soul cannot be cleansed of evil if it is not free. Take our song, remember it, and it may help you, but only when you are true to that which brought you beneath the sky. Oh, you mean being chaotic, dude? Chaos. This game is a bit odd that a bit of freedom and questioning and being critical and searching your own answer is being considered chaotic here and not lawful, but okay. It's in law of universe, this franchise. All three adepts look at you wide-eyed. What just happened? For a second you were surrounded by light and we heard music like the music of Elysium itself. I had a vision. I was in Elysium and the Azatas spoke to me. The adepts exchange looks of astonishment. I swear it's a sign that Desna herself has turned her gaze on you. You helped us and protected Wallflower from the Inquisitors, even though it wasn't your responsibility. The goddess couldn't fail to acknowledge such a noble soul. We might be getting ahead of ourselves here. There are many powerful entities in Elysium besides Desna, but of course there must be a reason for it. I am so glad we met you, friend, and not just because I'd be being tortured by the Inquisitors right now if we hadn't. But also because you helped me overcome my own doubts. We will always remember you, no matter what. No matter how the road may twist and turn, it must be followed to the end. Starward gaze. Perfect. So we're done here. Can we still talk to them? Plenty of Hulrun's Inquisitors are simply moldy, old hypocrites, who have no compassion for the suffering of others. Anyone with a heart couldn't do the things they do. Kenabris, what has become of you? And I had another vision from our mysterious helper, but she said the same thing as before. Well, the attack on Kenabris. Well, that's a problem, I guess. So we can return now. We did all the quests that we can do, and now we need to finish what we can't finish.
time for debates.
Attack!
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
The only thing that truly bothers me about this game is that when you open the map, first the map design, it's awful, and there are no points of interest. I mean, you have quest givers and people they need to talk to, but the game isn't telling you. You have to find them yourself. That's a bit annoying.
Godspeed.
What the fuck? What? The demons were killed recently, no doubt about that, but it's not clear if it happened here or if the bodies were brought here from elsewhere. What the... Why are there... What the I'm not going to ask any questions.
Let us press on.
Oh, friend. Nothing happened. The Defender's Heart is a splendid choice for the Crusades outpost. The very sight of these walls brings back fond memories of drinks and revels. The drinks were really good, by the way. May I ask you a few personal questions, Darren? You can try. I've heard stories about the tragedy that befell your family. I hope you don't feel obliged to offer me your insincere. I'm stupid. Insincere condolences on this unfortunate occasion. My whole family, my entire noble line, they all died. Demons are to blame. It's not like I actually loved any of my relatives except for my mother, but what's gone is gone. The family crypts are full of corpses all covered in dust and the shadows of the full past. What do you cherish most in life? Oh, there are far too many things that I cherish to fit them all into a single conversation, but believe it or not, I might be one of the most life-loving people you've ever known. Darren smiles. His eyes are gleaming with something different from his usual impudence and irony. There's a dreamy air about him all of a sudden. I rarely meet anyone who embraces the joys of living as enthusiastically as myself. There are so many exciting and beautiful things in the world. It should be illegal to waste your time on anything you do not enjoy. And I am not afraid to repeat that to anyone's face, should it be Descari and his demonic herd, Eomide Lightbringer itself. What do you hate the most? Ah, the feeling of helplessness, lack of control over my life. Duran, replies without thinking, and then he adds with obvious sarcasm, and onion rings, of course. I'd murder the person who came up with these abominations. Yes, those. You don't seem especially keen on helping people, but your knowledge of healing is truly impressive. What prompted your interest in that? Ah, if you really want to try out everything life has to offer, you also have to understand how to deal with the consequences, and I'm not talking about a simple hangover, mind you. Do you have any good stories about your past exploits? I've got plenty, but I have to warn you that even the most outrageous debauchery sounds far less thrilling when you are not the only one doing the debauchery. The one, not the only. Still, since you asked, I suppose the worst mess I've ever got myself into was when I staged my own kidnapping. I was once in correspondence with one of the Riverland nobles, the young Lord Libida, and he told me about his days as a hostage to a group of bandits. This made me wonder what it would be like, and I thought that it might be fun to set up a little experiment. I engineered my own kidnapping by a certain gang through a chain of intermediaries and hired actors. Those fellows took the job very seriously. They caught me by surprise, killed my 2 bodyguards, and even tied me up. Of course, the whole thing seems preposterous now, but it seemed like an ingenious idea at the time. The employers had told the kidnappers that they were to keep me safe and sound, and another group of mercenaries in disguise was watching the spectacle from afar, ready to interfere in case anything went wrong. It turned out to be a terrible idea nonetheless. It wasn't the least bit fun or exciting. Sure, those bandits had been unable to torture or hurt me physically in any way, but they had plenty of other non-invasive methods of humiliation in their arsenal. Taking almost all of your clothes off and splashing ice-cold water all over you, for example. Ugh, I can't even remember if I said anything truly offensive to provoke them, even though I initially planned to let them go after the ransom. Their overly emotional reactions made me change my mind. I told my mercenaries to hang them all on the spot. I suppose the whole ordeal taught me a valuable lesson, which is that I am not built for hardships and trials. Wait. You just told me that a couple of your bodyguards died during the staged kidnapping. Does that mean 2 innocent people lost their lives, though that you could have a bit of fun? Deron pales off a little, but not out of shame. Oh, spare me. It irks me beyond all measures when I hear about the suffering of innocence. He sighs, looks away, and continues in a flat, polite tone. Yes, the bodyguards died. Guarding nobles is a dangerous job. They were very well aware of the risks. I don't really see a problem with that. What the fuck? Besides, they proved their incompetence. They would have stood no chance against real kidnappers. Well, there's that argument, but still. Good. Your cruel jokes bring people nothing but misery. And? So that was a stupid story, and now I'll tell you a truly brilliant one. Prelate Hunarun had always strictly prohibited any public celebrations in Kenabres, and he always picked on me for my lack of respect for the fallen and whatnot. His grumbling annoyed me so much that one day I drove 4 barges into the city harbor and set up a celebration on their decks. The ships on the river didn't fall under the prelate's jurisdiction, you see, so all he could do was snarl at me from the embankment. I, for one, did not forget the old boy. The main attraction of the festivities involved an inquisitor of Iomide dancing and roasting beautiful witches on illusory bonfires, taking off his clothes with every new victim. The spectacle was so heated, in every sense of the word, that the prelate almost had a stroke. Therein gives you a mischievous smile. I still consider that one of my finest ideas of all time. Should the Crusaders ever succeed in their efforts against the World Wound, I will do my utmost to get permission to hold a grand public celebration. Rivers of wine, free of charge. An obligatory parade and carnival in the evening. A contest for the most provocative succubus costume with a hefty price in gold. Another contest where the participants have to fish a sausage out of a wine jar, blindfolded with their hands tied behind their backs. Ah, the wine will symbolize the blood of all the dead heroes of the war, and the sausage, well, they'll find a heroic meaning for that as well. Over the years, the commemoration of the greatest victory of light over darkness will turn into an ordinary holiday, yes. Fine excuse to get sloshed and rot like animals in the streets. Do you enjoy being mean to everyone? Ah, yes. And here I thought you were hurling insults at people purely by accident. Darren laughs, this time smiles surprisingly soft. I like your way with words. What did you expect me to say if I wanted to make a good impression? Something along the lines of, I'm not mean, I'm just being honest with myself and everyone else. That's what people use as an excuse when they want to keep up their saccharine facade, while still saying whatever nasty little thoughts spring to mind. This is not what I do. I have no hidden agenda. I'm just as much of an insufferable prick as I seem to be. Some people are simply begging for a good dose of mockery, so who am I to deny them? I don't give a damn if anyone holds a grudge against me, which is why I don't even try to avoid it. I'd like to talk about life in Mendiv and the Crusade. Ah, ask, I'm all ears. What's your opinion on Mendiv today in general? Oh, it doesn't exist. Darren scowls. It is a frontier country that has attracted every utopian, adventurer and fanatic from all over the world for more than a century. It is a place where the strangers outnumber the locals, especially in the cemeteries. The population of Mendiv, for the most part, consists of humans and other races not exactly known for their longevity, so the current generation of Mendivians were born in the shadow of the world wound and raised by the Crusades. I might be the last person to complain about the decline of traditions and lack of character in our country, but I also happen to come from one of Mendiv's most ancient lineages. Its history is bred deep in my bones. My tutor told me stories about my heritage. The galleries, libraries, and even the interiors of the manors I grew up in were filled to the brim with memories of events long past. There are many heroes of old Mendiv among my glorious ancestors, or at the very least, patrons and contemporaries of such heroes. Does anyone actually remember them now? I don't think so. These days, Mendiv has its own heroes in shining armor and with holy fire in their eyes. I myself remember how several streets that once celebrated my ancestors were named in honor of some crusaders who had died in a heroic fashion. And none of the citizens remember the old crossing festival that was eventually replaced by Armas. These holidays even share the same date. Pretty much the only authentic thing about Mendiv now is its endless war with the demons. And is there a point in bemoaning this state of affairs? What's gone is gone. But at least we are no longer some tiny, godforsaken northern kingdom. And that's something, isn't it? You really don't like Crusaders, do you? Ah, quite the opposite. When I think about how many devoted heroes are willing to protect this world against the demonic threat, I feel so inspired. Inspired to continue indulging my vices while they fight to keep me safe. Imagine being someone like me. Someone who has everything they can possibly desire. Youth, beauty, wealth, an honest wish to live and enjoy living, but vanishingly few ways to put it all to any use. The fact that the word fun itself is not yet outlawed in Mendiv must be due to some bureaucratic oversight. Germany wants to know your location. You can celebrate your victories solemnly, you can wet your whistle after a challenging battle, but what about real fun? Joys, pleasures. I can't remember a single evening at court without someone chastening me for my banquets, my lovers and mistresses, my luxuriant clothes, my everything. It would have been a lot easier to tolerate all those hypocrites if they took a break once in a while. Instead, there was a constant fuss about how I wasn't doing anything for the greater good and how I only brought shame to my royal cousin. What do you think of our enemies? Do you mean the demons themselves or their followers? The former deserve to be cleansed with heavenly fire, for their unholy origin alone, and the latter for their idiocy. I don't understand why a sane person would submit themselves to Descari or Cabrile. Alright, Lady Nocticula almost seems like a bearable enough mistress, yet there are so many other cultists. They've tried to recruit me twice already, and I'm not even that old. First, a very pretty tiefling girl tried to seduce me, and they came with promises of Lord Baphomet's endless boons. I still wonder what exactly the old hornhead could offer me that I don't already have. You know what I've been thinking? Every shopkeeper knows this trick. An enticing offer along the lines of 1 in every 100 buns from my bakery contains a silver coin, and of course a hired actress to make a memorable show of finding said coin in her sweet roll. And there you have it. Hundreds of gullible fools storm the shop hoping to win a prize for themselves. I think the infamous Arelu Volesh was such an actress for the Lords of the Abyss. Pity Sarkorian, which became the uncrowned queen of the World Wound, waited upon hand and foot by demon lords. Only instead of visiting a bakery, the gullible fools rushed to join the cultists. We have an army of unbelievable, powerful supernatural invaders from another dimension, hell-bent on destruction and domination. And what do those fools do? They serve them willingly as pawns and lackeys, hoping against hope that someday their masters will notice them. You won't believe how delighted I am to be so vain and self-absorbed. These sins protect me against demonic temptation, better than any virtue. What made you join my party after all? Ah, you mean instead of carousing far away from Kenavris with a small army of mercenaries to protect me? I will get to that, but not today. You see, when you appeared at my door out of nowhere, awash with bravery and heroism, and started tossing demons around like ragdolls, I thought that your company might be more exciting than my usual crowd of sycophantic hangers-on. You seemed competent and mysterious at the same time. So I decided that a little demon hunting wouldn't hurt, especially with such an intriguing entourage. That party had been growing styler with every passing second anyway. Needless to say, I'm not here for long. I shall return to the capital or even one of my country estates as soon as we reclaim the city. Crusades, bellowing commanders, row upon row of identical tents, this is not the time and life for me, but I will certainly remember you and our adventures together, for a week or perhaps even longer than that one. Okay. Is there anything new that we can talk about, Nino? I have to go. Okay, so nothing new here, nothing new there. Lan, talked to him already. Sealer. Is she new standing there? Ah! Hey there, during that march through the dungeon we never got a chance to exchange a proper greeting. It's high time I shake your hand. Okay, that's a story for the next episode.